Holy shit, the Brandon Aiyuk drama continues, Pat. Can you believe it, man? Another day, another article written. Apparently, he's still unhappy. Was never really happy with not really getting the expected contract offer that he wanted, but we'll talk about that here in a minute, man. Welcome to Elite Fantasy Nation podcast. I'm your host, Matt Dennis. You can follow me at Fantasy Matt, EFN. And as always, with Pat Wendelken, you can follow him at CityStars136. Also, follow us at Elite Fantasy Nation or Elite Fantasy N on the Twitter space, X, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like and subscribe. What's up, dude? How you been?
Not much, man. Good. Busy. Just like you, my friend. I know you're always busy running around, wheeling and dealing, bro.
There's a lot of hustle going on in my life right now. But yeah, we'll keep that for another conversation. But yeah, dude, a nice weekend. So back at it. Monday, man, a couple more weeks. It's the last week of June, so a couple more weeks before we've got obviously all the camp start, all the NFL camp start. So most of them start, I think, mid-July. So we got about 2 to 3 more weeks coming up. So it's gonna start ramping up fairly quickly, man. So well, today
just bear with us. We're almost there.
Almost there. The news is kind of a little dry, which Pat will get to here in a second, just because there's not a lot going on and nobody's in camp yet. Training camp hasn't obviously started, like I said, so not a lot of news, but we're trying to do as much as we can. So today we decided we'll talk about the news first, like Pat always does. Then we'll jump into trades. We got 8 trades, and we're gonna end with a fucking monster, dude. So I'm in my last rookie draft is going on now. For some reason in this league, they kept it till now to kick it off instead of April or May or June or whatever. They did end of June. So there's a monster trade that literally happened about 2 hours ago. So we're going to talk about that last on the podcast. So stay tuned to the end because it's a fucking monster, and I'm not joking.
Yes,
shout out to Pat earlier just to kind of get his. I should have probably held it so you could just get the wow factor, but I want to get him hyped up about it because it's a doozy. So Pat, take us through the news, man.
Not a lot, like you said, but let's rock. The Falcons and Michael Penix agreed to the rookie contract, $22.8 million, and they should be a happy young man following behind the steps of Kirko Chains over there. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
That'll be an interesting field drama as far as the season goes. If Kirk Cousins struggles, whatever that may look like. If people are calling for Penix right off the rip, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, man. Another little brief news for us is Higgins signed his tag, and there's reports that he's, the team is fully all in. All sights is just to finish to the end and make it to the end and complete the journey. So they're all in, which is nice to know before camp starts. No drama. He signed it, and he's focused.
I mean, at this point, you just got to show up, get paid. You got 1 year left, and figure it out from there. And then,
dude. And if you have a monster year, you earn that big paycheck. We'll see what he gets, man.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel as a Bengals fan?
I feel good. It's just Joe
put all that shit behind you now.
Yeah. Joe survived camp and just
training
focus.
camp. Joe needs to show up to training camp. He hasn't done it yet so far.
No, it's all right. He was there in the beginning with the rookies and stuff, so I was happy.
So finish training camp. I guess that's a better way of saying it. He started. He's not finished any training camps yet.
No, he has not. So we hope to God, man. Another little talk about with that. Real quick, Hard Knocks, the whole AFC North will be on, which I think is super interesting, bro. It's a little, not a crazy news, but I think it's going to be interesting and keep people's eyes and, super competitive division, bro. Like, conference right there,
That's during the season, and then the Bears will be preseason. So during the training camp and everything, they'll be recording the Bears. And during their actual season, they're going to have the AFC North, which will be, dude, yeah, that'll be tight, dude. There's a lot of, obviously, stuff going on there with how competitive that division is. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, man. The Pats and Stevenson agreed to a 4-year, $36 million deal. Yes, Ramondre gets his bag, and then 17 guaranteed, which is pretty sweet, bro. So congratulations to that, man. So he's ready to rock and run. He's got
dude. I mean, it's like, what is it, $9 million a year, just about a little bit less than 10. I mean, it's just kind of funny. Like nobody got paid a year ago, and then CMC first gets paid. Obviously, he got a bag. Ramondre obviously hasn't earned the bag as like CMC has, obviously, but I mean, still getting $9 million. It's still a pretty good amount for somebody who's considered probably a mid-tier running back, not even a high end. So yeah, good for him, dude.
And I definitely expect to see him, bro. He'll be definitely running a lot. I think with that quarterback situation and everything, I think he'll be getting the ball and hopefully gets his incentives. You know what I mean?
Well, bro, and it goes back to on our last podcast, if you remember, it's been a couple weeks since we've been on because I did the show with the salary cap boys. But the last one that you and I were on, we were talking about Ramondre and the coach kind of referencing that he's going to be the bell cow this year for that team, and they've already called him out. So this kind of validates what we had heard and what we also kind of like told the nation. So so we heard it first, and we kind of conveyed it, and
we're on point, bro. And he got paid, so we're with it. We're following him. And then, like you said, the big fucking drama show,
dude.
Brandon Aiyuk, goes on that podcast with Jalen Daniels, and they don't want me, and dude, I mean it's a disaster, bro. I mean, just the dude wants his money. They don't clearly want to pay him. I mean, dude, there's a lot.
No, I mean they just paid CMC. And, you got to think about it, and eventually they're gonna have to pay. The quarterback too. So it's like Purdy's going to have to get his. I mean, whether or not they're going to pay him big or not, but Purdy, if he keeps doing what he's doing the last 2 years, he's going to get a bag. So it's like how much money do you have to go around? But to that point, that's got to be even more of a slap in the face for Brandon Aiyuk. CMC gets paid when he didn't even need to get paid.
Correct.
And Brandon's like, well, what about me? Over here, my contract's coming up, and you're not even having a conversation with me or giving me what I feel like I'm worth, and yet you're going to pay CMC when he's not even due. So yeah.
We said that last time when I told you we got that extension. I said, I'm like, dude, this guy's looking at this, and he's not going to be happy. We said it weeks ago. Like, how are you paying this guy again? He gave him a little extra on top. He's like, dude, I haven't even gotten my first bag. You're on your second little bonus. Like, come on, dude.
You're getting extra cash just thrown you away.
He's like, so, I mean, that's going to be drama. Also, I briefly looked. I saw the Steelers are, always interested in him. Like you said prior, from the draft, even you were saying that they were interested in him. So now they're back on the Aiyuk bandwagon. So to be decided and continued at the same time, man. So
it's something that it really is something to watch closely because we talked about this before we jumped on and started the podcast. Is he actually going to show up to training camp? Is he going to be a holdout? Is he like, what is Brandon Aiyuk going to do, and how is that going to affect this team? And then counterverse to that, if he does hold out, Pearsall's stock skyrockets because then he does become the number 2 in that offense right off the bat. So. And everybody had a lot of high hopes for Pearsall. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation about how good he can be, especially in that offense. And if you got Aiyuk holding out, I don't know, man. It's something to monitor very closely. We'll be talking a lot about over the next couple of weeks to months until it kind of gets situated. And, hopefully it gets situated quick, or hopefully he just shows up and plays out the year like T. Higgins does and says, I'll take it from there. So,
and Matt, mind you, too, it's like, you are just in the Super Bowl. You guys have this team. You just were there. Yeah, you lost. It's like, dude, it's like you were there. You had the taste. Like now it's you keep the band together, or what are you guys doing? I'm like, and dude, he's a pretty viable piece. He might not be the number 1 piece, but he's absolutely got some great value and plays a role.
And we talked about this a little bit, and we don't need to go into contracts because we're not. This isn't a contract, episode or show by any means, but. One, he has injury issues. Staying healthy has always been a concern with Brandon Aiyuk. 2, that's run first offense. So that's why in my opinion they're paying CMC because he touches the ball a lot more than Brandon Aiyuk does. Between the running back part of it and also the catches out of the backfield. CMC is much more of an integral part of that offense than Aiyuk ever has been or ever will be. And especially because he can't stay healthy. So you can't really blame the 49ers. They've only got so much money to go around, and you can't blame Aiyuk because he's like, you're disrespecting me. So, but it'd be interesting. Definitely something that could change a lot of fantasy or have a lot of fantasy outcome depending on which way it goes.
Correct.
So, all right, man. Anything else?
That's a solid little bit of news, and that's it, brother. We'll see what happens this coming weeks coming into camp.
Fuck yeah. All right. So we're going to jump right into Dynasty Trades, man. We got 8, like I said. So broken out between, it looks like 4 different leagues. Actually 5, my bad. So 5 different leagues. We're going to start with Funday Sunday. So this is a 12 team.
This one, bro. Spicy start.
This is a 12. That. It is a spicy start. We got a bookend, spicy start, and we've got one hell of a doozy at the end.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We've got a 12 team PPR Superflex. It is start 10, and it is set your lineup. So it is not best ball. So you've got Mike 657392 trading with Jay Spade. Mike gets Anthony Richardson and Marvin Harrison Jr. And in return, he gives up Joe Burrow, Puka Nacua, and a 2025 second. Now I know you're Joe Burrow love.
Yeah,
so hopefully you can kind of pull that back a little bit. But if you break it down, what side are you taking, and kind of how do you break it down in your opinion?
Man. Oh man. Well, injuries play a huge role in this one. Clearly, health is everything.
Both quarterbacks have been
ends,
injured.
I'm saying that.
Yeah, both
so
ends,
I'm
100%. Yep.
And then Puka's kind of starting to be a proven commodity, and Harrison to be determined what he could do. You know what I mean? The 25 second is really nothing crazy in this to me. To be honest with you,
I think it's a decent amount. But go ahead.
It's something, but depending where it lands, you know what I mean, where it lands 100%. And everything else, bro. So that's why I'm like, I like the trade, man. I don't know. I think they're both could win. Like it could win for both. You know what I mean? Like I could see it being super valuable. One's going super young. You know what I mean? You got a lot of like youth, especially going in. I mean, Puka's not that old either. You know what I mean? So it's like, does Burrow stay healthy is your real question. You know what I mean? That's in my eyes, that's going to be like kind of like the make or break. And Richardson too. He's got to stay healthy just as much as Burrow.
No, 100% fair. What side are you picking? You got to pick a side.
Oh man, dude, I don't know, bro. Both look really great, and not even being a Bengals fan, I like them both, man, because I want to see what Harrison does, man. I'm super like that's like the question mark to me. Like, damn. I mean, I'll just go with Burrow and Puka because Puka is proven. You know what I mean? Like he's great, and if Burrow can stay healthy, yes, and then you get a 25. But I think Richardson and Harrison look amazing also. So I think they both win.
Yeah. I kind of look at like if Anthony Richardson, I think you've said there's a lot of unknowns here, right? I think if everything's equal, both stay healthy, I say that there's probably more upside in Richardson than there really is in Burrow because of his rushing, because he's got more rushing ability. And that's how he actually got injured, was his shoulder when he was running. You look at Marvin Harrison Jr., is supposed to be an elite, kind of a new age, like could be the number one wide receiver, period, coming out. Now, whether or not that comes to fruition, that's the unknown that you talked about, right? And then you've got Puka, who, has showed an amazing rookie season, broke a ton of records. But can he sustain that? What does that look like when he gets a new quarterbacks right now? Matthew Stafford, when he leaves the Rams, what does that look like? Stafford could retire next year. You don't know how much longer he's around for, versus Harrison is obviously going to have Kyler Murray for the next 5, 10, 15 years, whatever that looks like, so at least more than 2. And then you get a second thrown in. So, I would personally take. I mean, it's close. It's damn close. I got to tell you, this is probably like a very. It is. It's a very equal. It's a very equal trade. In my opinion, Mike's going with the upside, with the potential of like it could be like an elite trade where if he gets Anthony Richardson not to get injured and can do what he can, like that can be an elite quarterback because of the rushing ability. Marvin Harrison Jr. If he lives up to his potential, he could be an elite. He could be much better than Puka at the end of the day. And then on the other side, you've got Jay, who's picking more of kind of knowns, like Joe Burrow, what he is. Puka Nacua, you've seen what he's done. And then you get in a second as like, all right, I'll take the second for more growth down the future. So I probably would probably lean on the Burrow side just because I think there is too much unknown on the Richardson side. And mostly the Richardson side that scares me is the injury. Like, you look at any quarterback, if Andrew Luck is a prime example. He was big guy, ran his ass off, never listened to anybody. Everybody was telling him, he's got to slow down. Like, it's going to be a hard career if he keeps like running into people like he does. He's relentless. He's ruthless. He'd run people over, wouldn't run out of bounds. Richardson does the same thing and already got injured this first year. And Luck lasted, 4 or 5 years in the league before he retired.
On the same team.
Yeah, so that's my fear. I'm not, and again, like anything can happen, but that's just kind of like where my head goes. I'd rather go.
And then Burrow has to stay healthy either, and I get it. Like
100%.
He's got to make another full season. Let's see it. So
it's kind of crazy. So you've got it's a very fair trade, 100%. You could go either side, depends on how you want to slice it. Flip a coin, whatever. But it's funny because you got 2 quarterbacks, both injury prone, or have had injury history, not prone, injury histories, right? And then you've got 2 wide receivers that are both first or rookie year. So it's like such an equal trade where it's like usually it's a very old side and a young side.
That's cool.
And that's not this way at all. So I thought it was a good way to start it. So thank you. Thanks for that one, Mike and Jay Spade. We're gonna say in the same league. So again, it's Funday Sunday, 12-team PPR Superflex. Start 10. It is such a lineup. So Jay Spade is back. This time he's trading with Gradas, who's our boy Greg, so a buddy of mine, and Roger, who used to be on the podcast. So here's kind of an interesting one. So Trey McBride and a 2026, mind you, so 2 years out, second, and that is Greg's second.
Yeah.
Greg's team won this year, just so you know. So if that continues,
Okay.
it would be a late second. And in return, Greg gets DK Metcalf and a 2025 fourth round pick.
Okay. I'm going with McBride, man. I like the youth over there, and I like what McBride showed, and I would go with that. I think Metcalf is cool, and like maybe he wants to continue his streak. So I mean, he traded maybe for more proven, and Geno's last year or so, and he sees Howell. I don't really know, but I'm gonna trade McBride, man. Why not? That's cool. I like it.
Shit.
The youthful tight end, man.
Two in a row. I actually agree with you. It's not a tight end premium, which I normally wouldn't say is the best to kind of trade a tight end for an aging wide receiver, but still a wide receiver who's been, top 15, call it top 20, maybe.
Yes.
But I think for me, it's the 2020, and it is 2 years out, but it is a second. You're getting a second back that you could then fill more youth. The fourth for me is like, it's a wash. Like, who cares? On a 2025 fourth, it's like, who cares? That class, who knows what it's going to be like, and it's a fourth round, so they're always crap shot in the fourth round anyways. So
correct.
I like the Trey McBride in second. I agree with you, man. I think it's a
boom.
I think
two for two.
Yeah, I mean, Greg, props to him. He's a really good trader. So I'm not saying that it's a bad trade by any means, but I think that it's just definitely the side that I'd probably want to take if you're looking forward. So same league, Funday Sunday, 12 team.
Look at this guy. Who's
this?
this?
Superflex, start 10, set your lineup. That is me, Dynasty MD 6129. Anybody who's in Sleeper who watches this, if you want me to join any of the leagues, hit me up, DM me, and usually I have a hard time saying no. But since I'm between things right now, I've said no a couple of times already, so you never know. So I traded with the Absurd Rebel. Yeah, tongue twister. I give up Cedric Tillman. In return, I got a 2025 third. So kind of like a trade, but just want to get your thought. Again, it is content, and it is the time of year when there's not really a lot going on. So I thought that's what we're talking about. So what do you think?
I mean, so Matt, what was your reasoning behind the trade? May I ask this?
So Cedric Tillman came out last year or 2 years ago, I should say. So, and it looked like he was going to be, like a decent wide receiver. Went to Cleveland. He's got speed. So it's something where it's like, I mean, it's probably a wash, to be honest with you. A third for basically Tillman, I think, was drafted in the second round. Or no, he's drafted in the third round, or second round, my bad. He was drafted in the second round. Initially, Absurd offered me a fourth round pick, which I thought was not enough to give up for him. So there's a chance he could become something, but I'm willing to risk on, a future draft pick and see where it goes in 2025.
Yeah, for sure,
just
dude.
to kind of have extra bullets in my gun. So it's kind of what I looked at it. I could have given up Tillman a little bit too early, and he's probably worth a third right now. So it's probably a wash if you look at like who won. Like nobody won this trade, in my opinion. We're both taking risks and gamble. He's taking a bet on Tillman. He's like, oh fuck it, take my third. I'll take a bet and gamble or a risk on Tillman. And I'm like, I'll take a risk on that third. And you can take Tillman. So it's kind of how it played out. So what's your thought? And it's kind of like
I like the pick, dude. I like your pick, honestly. Yeah, for why not, man? You didn't really. Nothing phenomenal, and
no, it wasn't like a crazy, a high, targeted person, anyways. So
agreed, bro.
All right, so new league here. We've got Still Reserve Dynasty League. It is a 12-team PPR, Superflex, start 12, and this one is best ball. So the next few will be best ball, except for the whammy at the end. But this one's pretty interesting in the sense of like, I'll just go through it. I'll have my commentary here in a minute. So Peony 13 trades with Casa Black. So Piano basically gets a third and a fourth in 2025, and in return gives Casa Black Tyler Lockett. What is your thought?
Question for you. So is Castle Black a contender, his team? Like, or is he, you know what I mean? Like, is this guy...
Keep going the commentary and let me pull it up.
So my theory, you got Lockett is an aging wide receiver for sure now, man, especially out there, and hasn't done anything absolutely phenomenal, to be honest with you. So I'm like wondering why he went for Lockett. I mean, he didn't give up anything absolutely crazy, but like you said, a third could be something, and the fourth is really nothing major. Like, I don't think it's the most exciting trade or anything crazy, but Lockett hasn't really done much to me. So to me, Lockett doesn't hold that much value. So I would probably take the picks. You know what I mean? Especially an aging wide receiver. Why not
so
take it?
Casa Casablanca finished fourth to last, so he was the 104 in this year's draft class. So his team is
Okay.
not stacked. It could be a early pick, basically, is what I'm saying. Early picks, I should say.
So definitely, I take the picks in this one for sure, especially with the aging Lockett, bro. Let him go. He hasn't done anything phenomenal in a while, so I'm gonna go with that. I know he ranks like deeper in the wide receiver for sure. He's in the late 20s, I think. He's like low, dude. He's far.
Tyler.
Yeah, he's way down there. Actually, I was watching something.
33. Last year he ranked 33rd wide receiver within the
I knew
same
it was
league.
there.
So so basically wide receiver 3, right? So he's also going to be 32 this year. He's 31 currently. So I'm assuming before the season will end, he'll probably turn 32. So also, to your point, a very older wide receiver. He has fallen off. 2 years ago, Tyler Lockett. In my opinion, when I first looked at it, like I didn't look at the age, and I was thinking the fourth. It's like a fourth is a fourth. Throw that out the window. So you're basically giving a third for Tyler Lockett. Is that enough? I almost think like 2/3 would have been more what I would have probably asked for instead of just the third and the fourth. But I mean, to your point, he's rolling the dice and trying to get younger and build draft capital. So for Peony, he's probably looking at like, I just wanted a third and a fourth, and I'll take a gamble and see what I can do with that. So.
Who knows where he's going to finish here? I mean, he finished 33rd last year, and the competition's growing. Younger, new studs that are in the NFL now are going to start bumping up, so he's going to be dropping lower. So I think he did good, man. I'm going to go.
You have Njigba there too. Like,
dude, that's the future.
So it could be potentially this year. It could be starting to get phased out. So. I agree.
DK's still there too, like we just had the other trade. So,
and then to your point, the quarterback play has dropped off. When Geno Smith took off 2 years ago, he didn't look as good last year. Like he started out the season okay, and then he kind of faltered quite a bit throughout the season. So there's a lot of question marks. I know they traded, I should say, for Sam Howell, which we'll talk about here in a second because there's a Sam Howell trade coming up. That's called a little bit of a lead right there. So, I would take the picks. And Peony's just like, hey, I just want to get off Tyler Lockett. Casablanca, I think you one thing that you hit on, which I think is key and pivotal. If Casablanca's team is like close to winning the ship, and he's like, all I got to give up is a third and a fourth to get an extra piece that I could then use. It is best ball again. I would do want to highlight it as best ball, so Lockett could still hit the lineup on occasion because it is best ball. But if Casablanca was like, hey, I just want 2 pieces away, I need a couple more pieces, and wanted to give up a third and a fourth to get that piece. I could see that, but considering that he was where he finished last season, to me, I would stick with the picks in my opinion. Sure. So, yep.
Top 4 versus bottom 4 is a monster difference. So that's why I'm like, I'm good, bro.
100%. And look what we got here. We got the next 3 back to back. Pat wanted all about him on this trade show, so he did a lot of trades. Not a lot. He did 3. I did 1. So actually, half of these trades in this episode is going to be our trades. So I'll kind of highlight this. So you've got Elite Fantasy Nation. This is obviously our podcast or our Dynasty League, 12-team PPR. It is super flex. It is a small tight end premium, and it is best ball. So Ashlyn traded with you. Ashlyn gets your 2025 second, and in return you get Jerome Ford.
Yes, sir.
What were you thinking? You threw that at me on the last trade. So what was your?
I want some youth. We know that someone on that Browns team has a very, very long injury list, and he never stays healthy. So I think the up and coming back will be Ford, and I expect to see that again. So that's why I took it. And I'm like, I'll give you my second. I think Ford has a nice future. He's young. It's best ball, and get some youth. And I'm more we said before, you get some youth in there, and I'm in this year, so he could hit the lineup for sure, especially if he gets hurt again, Chubb. That's who we're talking about, obviously.
Yep. So to kind of put context behind there, Jerome Ford finished as running back 16 last year. That is obviously Chubb out pretty much most of the year. I think he got injured week 3 or week 4, so he's pretty much out the whole year.
Always.
Yeah. Well, but they did bring in Deontay Foreman. Not saying Deontay Foreman is going to be a monster. Obviously, the number 2 is going to be Jerome Ford. I agree with you. I almost said Chuba Hubbard. Nick Chubb, there's a possibility he may not even be the same back coming back off that horrific knee injury. I mean, I watched it live, and I remember the text back and forth. it was like everybody assumed that his career was done. Like it looked like MCL, ACL. It looked like knee got destroyed basically.
Yeah,
So the fact that it
I
wasn't
was
as
one of those
bad.
that texted you. I told you,
No,
that was
we were
brutal, bro.
I couldn't even watch the replay, dude. And they showed the replay once, and then they stopped showing the replay. So it was like that's how bad it was.
Yep.
It was like you just hear the gasp in the stadium. Like even people that were live in the stadium could see how bad that injury was when he got hit. So who knows if he's going to be staying back? So I think for you're taking a gamble, and you're like, here for a second, it's worth a gamble. Who could be starting running back and who could hit my lineup consistently? So, I like it for both sides. It's kind of like the other one. At times, on the opposite way, I should say. I kind of was like wavering back and forth. Like, is a second too much for Jerome Ford, considering that like he is just a backup?
Right.
But when you start to give it a little more context, you can see. You're taking a gamble. You're taking the risk, and instead of paying a first later on down the road when he is the running back, if that's what it comes down to, you're paying a second.
Yeah, he takes that role, and because next year he won't be that second price, second round price tag. He's going to want more. So why not?
Hell yeah, I like it, man. So I think it's fair for both. Ash, I could see as like using draft picks to kind of rebuild. So I could easily see that.
Sure.
So it makes sense for both sides. All right,
what
are you clicking back there, man? I hear you clicking.
Yeah, no, that's this old chair that we're going to be getting rid of. My new setup.
All right, so we got a couple. This is a new league that Pat and I joined called Magic Beans. So
yeah, man,
the fun Magic Beans. So we joined it this year. Had our inaugural startup, and then had a rookie draft. And Pat's next two trades are going to be in this league. So it's a 12-team PPR super flex. It is tight end premium. Start 12, and it is best ball. So here, City Stars 10-23, which is my boy Pat, traded with Pauly D 27. You get Jermaine Burton, and then in turn, he gave up Gabe Davis and a 2025 third.
Correct. Matt, what do you think? I want
you want me to jump in?
Yes,
okay.
You go first.
I love Jerome Burton or Jermaine Burton. Sorry, Jermaine Burton. I think he's going to be amazing. I think there's an ability when T. Higgins leaves. So coming out of Alabama, which is where Burton came out of, he had a monster season 2 seasons ago, and last season was like okay. So he's a speedster. He could easily fill that T. Higgins void once T. Higgins walks. In that offense, a wide receiver 2 in that offense is a pretty powerful wide receiver. Gabe Davis has had flashes, but he's never been whatever he wanted him to be. He's basically Jermaine Burton, but can't stay healthy. And all you had to give up was a third to get Burton in that offense versus in Jacksonville offense. I'll take Burton all day, every day, and I like what you gave up. I think it's you're giving pieces up to Pauly D. Again, it is best ball, so Pauly D could have 2 options to have people hit his lineup versus 1. The 2-for-1s you always want to look at in best ball. Give up more assets than what you're getting back is not always the best way to go, but I think yours has a more likelihood of being a long-term option within that offense versus Gabe Davis. I think is going to be, he couldn't even do anything in Buffalo to have them keep him there. What is he going to do in Jacksonville? So I like your side, man.
Thanks, man. I kind of, that's kind of where I was going with. Burton's going to be there anyway because, Tyler Boyd moved on. So I can see him at least throw him in the slot, let him get in there. So even if he's in the third, but he's still starting. So he should be able to hit my lineup with something. I'm hoping, Granted, attitudes in check, plays a fair game, I think he'll do just great. And then, like you said, Higgins looks like he's going to be on the road, and it's going to be Burton and Chase.
Yeah.
So that's why I did it. And like I said, Davis he's been a big hit or miss. He's literally the like boom or bust every fucking week. So I'm like
he's the perfect guy to have in best ball because
for sure.
You would never, Gabe Davis, you'd never put him in a lineup league. If you had to set your lineup, you never would put Gabe Davis in there because there's no chance.
Never.
There's no guarantee that he's going to actually finish the game or even have any catches. I mean, he could have 4 touchdowns and they could have nothing. So it's like he's such hit or miss. It's like the perfect best ball.
Like injury spot / the flex or a bye week. That's what he's there for in your set your lineup league. That's how I used him through all my years. And I got lucky sometimes, and sometimes it got burnt. So I'm like, all right, well, now guess what?
Yep.
He's gone, now and this is best ball, and it fits.
Ship him out, and you've got Burton. He's got high upside, so I love it, man.
With the youth, too. I went,
with
awesome.
The youth.
More youth. Oh, my God, another one.
Another one of you. Look at it. lowers his head down. Same league, Magic Beans, 12 team PPR, Superflex, tight end premium, start 12, best ball. City Stars, 1023 is back. He's trading with Flash. Is that how you say it?
Flash. I don't know, whatever. Flash Gordon, we called him. The whole time I kept calling him Flash in the chat, so we'll go with that.
All right, we're going to go with Flash Gordon. So you get Sam Howell, and you give up a 2025 second.
Correct.
Go ahead.
So how's the future
first.
there?
Yeah.
I actually, on Father's Day, I took my dad out for some quick wings. It's a local bar. They're a Packers bar, but the guy that served me is a diehard Seahawk fan, and we were talking, and it's funny because like this fit after I didn't even tell him I did it, but he's like, Howell's the future. They traded for him. Geno's done within a year or so, and they're just going to prep Sam Howell, and that's going to be the Seahawks quarterback for the remaining time. And if he performs, it's great. If
he performs, I mean, that's also part of it too. He's got to perform. So Sam Howell looked really good in Washington when he started the season. I mean, I have him in a couple of, I drafted him as a rookie and I had a couple of leagues and I was like, holy shit, like this could be a hit. And then towards the end of the season, I don't know, what I was listening to, what I heard, it was like they're throwing the ball so damn much. And because in the NCAA, like you don't have as many games that like, if you look at it, like, his consistency with passing got worse. Howell's did towards the end of the season. There was speculation that it was because they basically killed his arm. Just his arm got super tired.
Washington, remember? I mean, look who it was. Nothing phenomenal at all. And
100%. So I mean, I think you're taking a risk, and somebody who Geno Smith. Obviously, they've already seen things signs that show that they're concerned about Geno Smith. Otherwise, wouldn't have traded for Sam Howell. I know they didn't give up the boat for him, but they still went out and traded for him. So they obviously wanted, instead of going veteran way. I mean, there's always they could have went Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill hasn't been signed yet to this day. He's still on the free agent.
Crazy.
So they could have gone the veteran route if they wanted to, but they saw something in Sam Howell that they believe in, and also something in Geno Smith that they're probably afraid of. They're like, we need to figure out a backup plan. So I don't disagree with you, and it looked like he could be a caliber starting quarterback when he did start in Washington. To give up a second, it's one of those things where if Sam Howell is the guy, a second is worth it. If it turns out that like he's only doing start spots or he starts for one season, even if he starts for one season, I'll put it this way, and he wins you a ship or something like that, or gets you kind of a playoff push for one season and a best ball, it's probably worth a second. It's like, especially next year's second, you don't know. What it's going to look like. The whole rookies are going to look like. You don't know where you're going to be positioned in the second. It could be the back end of the second.
Correct.
So I think, I like it, man. To give only a second to get to Sam Howell, fuck it. Go with it.
Got to roll the dice, baby.
Got to roll the dice. All right, you ready for this shit, man?
Boom. Let's go.
You ready for this? Here's the monster. It is the monster. Oh, baby. We've got a CeeDee Lamb sighting. So this just happened during the middle of the rookie startup. And I'll tell you who the picks were. So some of these picks have already been made. But kind of break it down the league. It's 50 FLEXXX or man meat. We've had a couple of trades within this league before.
Dude, a lot of man meat. I've heard man meat a couple times in these leagues, bro.
There's a lot of man meat, dude. So 12-team PPR, super flex, tight end premium, start 12, all are flex. So you can start anybody in any position except for the super flex. So the one guy who won this league, I've talked about it before, he had all tight ends. He still has all tight ends and only quarterbacks. Tight ends and quarterbacks, no running backs, no wide receivers. Wow. So it doesn't really affect this particular trade, but I just want to set context behind it. It is set your lineup. So Robbie B trades with Say Win 88. So Robbie gets CeeDee Lamb and Kadarius Toney thrown in. And in return, he gives up this year's 105, 106, which were just drafted, so I can tell you who those players are in a second. The 201, which is actually my pick, so the highest second round pick you can possibly get without it being a first round pick, and a 2025 first. Pat, what says you?
I think Say When does edge this. I mean, that's a lot of ones.
It's a lot regardless. Of juice, dude. It's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of juice. Look, Lamb's awesome. Tony could care less what the hell that was for. That's
just that's like a fucking throw-in.
Or whatever, fine.
Yeah.
Now I need to ask you, what was those first two picks?
Great question. Great question. So the 105 was Rome Odunze.
Okay.
The 106 was Brock Bowers.
Love it.
So the 106, because this is also, again, tight end premium, and the guy who won last year had only
All
tight
tight
ends.
ends.
So he basically got a tight end. I mean, granted, he's in Vegas, so there's no guarantee, how elite he's going to be. But the other guy, the guy won with tight ends that you wouldn't expect to win with, and he had 10 of them, and he won the league last year. So he gets Brock Bowers, and he gets Romudunze, and hasn't drafted past that point. I think we're at the 107 in the draft. We just started the podcast while the draft is going on. But yeah, so those are the two picks, Romudunze and Brock Bowers. So how does that change? Or what is your thought on any of?
I'm gonna go. Man. I think with the youth and you get an awesome tight end that I think we have an amazing future with. Yeah, man, I do. And I want to see what your pick turns out to be. Be honest with you, when that gets picked, you had text me. Yeah, 201. I'm curious to see.
We'll have to update. We'll have to update. We'll probably pull this up for the next episode once the draft is done and kind of show like what basically all the players are giving up. Obviously, we won't have the 2025 first round pick yet, but we can show what the other 201 was. We can kind of bring this rehash this. So, I think it's a lot. I actually think it's probably too much, to be honest with you. The funny thing is, I traded CeeDee Lamb in this league way back when, like about a year ago, and I misread. So I think we talked about one of the trades. They're giving me a lot of shit because I basically devalued CeeDee Lamb. It was obviously before he had his wide receiver 1 campaign. He was still kind of like middling around, hadn't broken through yet. But hell, if I could have got basically 4 first round picks for CeeDee Lamb, I would have fucking taken that in a heartbeat, dude. I mean, I think I got a first and 2 seconds or something like that, or 2 firsts and a second, and they gave me a ton of shit for it. But the way I look at it is a 2-1 to me in this draft class, because it is so deep. I think the 2-1 is pretty much, you can consider that a late first round pick. So you have 2 mid first round picks that are elite, because it's a monster draft class, not only within the quarterbacks, but wide receivers. You also have a tight end who's a mammoth. And then like I said, then you got the 2-1, and then you've got a first round pick from K King Perez, which I believe, or for Perez, I should say, which I'm looking at it now. So he finished middle of the pack this year. Okay. So if he finishes middle of the pack next year, that could be in 2025, that could be a 106 or 107. So basically, you got 105, 106, 107, and a 201 for CeeDee Lamb in essence. I think that's an overpay.
Yeah, for sure. He wins, dude. This is hands down, bro.
I mean, get your guy, I get that, but I think he could have done it for 2 firsts and 2 seconds, in my opinion. I think getting basically, you could argue 4 firsts for CeeDee Lamb is kind of like, he's not a quarterback, dude.
Dude, it's a king's ransom. Let's call it what
it's
it is.
It's a fucking king's ransom. I mean, more power to say win, man. And Robbie, if you want your guy, you got to pay for it. And Robbie's got a shit ton of draft picks, even in this draft class. So, so you could still come ahead and
a lot of ones, bro. Dude. A lot of fucking ones, man, for that.
I mean, I wanted Rome. I was trying to trade back up into the first round because I've got like future firsts. I've got 2 future firsts and I think 4 future seconds in 2025, and I've got 5 second round picks this year. So I was trying to trade back into the first round. And I was actually hitting him up. I wanted Romudunze.
That's it.
And I was willing to give him Tua straight up for Romudunze for the 105. Because Robbie needs a quarterback, which is funny because now he still has no quarterback. He could have drafted Romudunze and he could have got JJ McCarthy at the 106. Yeah. He could have kept his picks.
For sure.
Hey man, interesting. I mean, it was a doozy. Did I lie though? I mean, this is like fucking, you're just like, damn, this is like a big boy, pull your fucking jockstrap up, step up to the plate trade. So
love it, man. Listen, if you're happy, you're happy, bro. But you definitely, my man, definitely had to pay the price, bro. And
he paid the piper. He fucking paid the piper, man.
It's like when everyone knows, it's like when you're in those trades and you see this fucking wild shit and you're like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Accept. And he just does it. You're like,
well, and what's crazy is like, so this is a very short timer compared to most drafts that I've been in. So it's a 4-hour clock.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
The dude had like 10 minutes left. So it was supposed to be Robbie's pick. He had 10 minutes left. And I went on, I literally typed in the league and I was like, yeah, looks like Robbie B is going to be the first one to time out and to like get auto picked. And he had like the next 5 picks. So it would have just auto picked all of them for him. And then literally like a minute later, you just see the trade pop up. So he must have been working this for hours behind the scenes.
Yeah, dude. He was like, all right, like, what do you want? He's like, the guy is like, Say Wen's like, look, this is what
he's
I
like, you
want.
got 7 minutes, bro. He's like, you got 7 minutes left. The clock is ticking. I told you what I want. You hit accept or you do you know? And he's like, shit. Another way to get a trade in is, to have the clock in your favor and you get somebody who's, I'm going to say that's the case, but it got damn close to being timed out. So it's like the pressure of having that clock ticking when you want a trade done. So,
well, that went back and forth quite a few times. And he's like, listen, this is it. And I'm fucking done. Like, dude, I got 7 minutes left. Final offer. You want fucking Lamb?
You want Lamb? This is what it's going to take. Yeah.
Fucking love it, man. Great way to end our podcast, bro, with a fucking banger.
Hell yeah. With the fucking doozy, dude. That was like a fucking Hailmaker. Just like knock somebody out.
It's the way to be, baby.
Hell yeah, brother. So yeah, man, we got a couple more weeks, like I said, until we get to training camp. Training camp is right around the corner. So yeah, it'll hopefully pick up a little bit. And then we got some news that we'll be talking about probably after the 4th of July when we get back. I'm out for that week of 4th of July. So we'll try to record one before I leave, Pat. Other than that, we might not get in for another week or two. And then, all systems go when training camp gets close. So it'd be kind of insane. But you got anything else, man?
No, man. Just hopefully get more trades and want more action, bro. And,
yeah, keep the action coming, man.
Going,
there's a couple leagues that I'm in that I'm going to start dropping notes and saying, hey, you guys need to wake up because it's been like a month since somebody's even made a comment in that league. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is Dynasty, bitches. Get up to the table, man. Do some trades. Get some action going. Man.
I just pulled my draft order for my my redraft just the other day. I had mad people hitting me up. They're like, these people don't really do Dynasty, but they're like heavy into this. This is one of the big money leagues we're in. And
so yeah, mad people hitting you up. How many of them actually subscribe to this shit? By the way, hit the like, hit the subscribe.
Hopefully,
follow
at least
us.
Half or more. I would hope.
No, you need to get confirmation. And anybody that's asking you for information, you just need to say, I want to see their name on our subscribe list, and then he'll give them
dude.
Feedback. That's click the like. That's all click subscribe. That's all they got to do.
It's one simple click.
Fuck yeah. I'm gonna hold you to that, man. I'm gonna keep texting your ass, making sure you make them pay.
Hell yeah, bro. Come on, bro. Listen, I'm like, yo, you harassed me to do a draft, give you a draft order. Go listen to my stuff, bro. Keep going, man. Me and Matt work hard enough,
and
bro. Subscribe, bro.
Yeah.
Put it in the car, bro. It's all right. You don't gotta look at my face. You could just listen.
Yeah. No. You put it on YouTube. We want it on YouTube and just hit play and walk away. You can dim the screen. You don't need to see Pat's ugly mug. You don't need to look at me. Just fucking dim the screen.
Yeah, bro.
But hell yeah, man. So all right, everybody. As always, it's always a pleasure with Pat on the mic.
Yeah, brother.
So until next time. Oh, hit the like and subscribe. Gonna say it numerous times. Please help the algorithms.
Comment, like, please give it all, bro. We want it. Please.
Love it all. Until next time, we're out. Peace.